here's what we're going to do now. So we have a bunch of buildings. I didn't even count. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we have 12. I'm asking for you to do at least 10 minimum. If you want to do more, have at it. Don't stop just because I tell you to. But minimum 10 so that you can get the feel of all of this overlapping that you're trying to create. So now, because this is meant to be a city, it has to look like it could be inhabited by whether it's people, aliens, animals, whatever your theme calls for. So now what I want to show you is how to do some pretties on the outside of the buildings. Buildings that are closer to you, whether they're big or small, they're going to have more detail because they're facing closer to you. Buildings that are way in the distance, way behind everything else, they may have little to no detail because they are so far away. It's the same as if you are pretending to stand in the middle of that road and you've got houses on both sides of you. The houses closest to you, you might even be able to see every single little piece of siding or brick or their mailbox number. But if you go a block or two or half a mile down, you know there's a house there, but you cannot see much for detail, let alone something like a mailbox number. So just keep that in mind when you start designing this, and then we'll get into shading in a little bit. So first thing I want to show you is how to do windows and doors, because if this is going to be inhabited by something living, it has to have a way to look outside and get in and get out and be able to travel, even if it's floating in the city and we eventually create sidewalks or floating steps or water slides. It could be anything. So what I'm going to show you first is we'll do a door on this one right here. So I'm going to start with 2 vertical lines. Again, if you don't know what vertical is, use the edge of your paper as a guide. No matter what kind of paper you're using, there should usually be a flat spot. If not, for some reason, if you've got it ripped out of something and it's all jagged, use your best eye to figure out, your best judgment to figure out what's straight, what vertical is. So if that's the sides of my door, then I'm going to take and draw the top of the door to the vanishing point that is on the same side of the face of this building. So a couple new terms for you. These are faces and these are edges. So you'll hear this too if you ever take a tech ed class in construction. So the faces of the building, that's where doors and windows and whatnot would be. When we figure out bricks, block, siding of any kind, we'll use the edges and we will use a little bit of measurement. Again, if you don't have a ruler, we can just eyeball it as best as possible to figure out, do I want it a 1/4 inch apart? Do I want a 1/2 inch apart? Pick a measurement and we'll stick with it. So doors, vertical lines, and then drawing to your vanishing point. So if we had a door on this one way up here, because even though it's up there, it's still closer to us than the building behind it. Again, it's on the same side as that vanishing point. This face is aiming that direction. So then the top of the door is going to aim that direction. Draw a line. Okay? Now, if you want to do windows, windows are similar to doors. Let's say we want to just put a couple of random windows right here. And I'm just going to make my lines bigger, because when we get towards the edge of the building that's facing us, things get larger. They're coming at us. They're coming away from the vanishing point. So they're not vanishing, they're growing. Let's say we want a wall of windows here, and I screwed up right here. My intent was to have them closer together and further apart. So if I screw up, go back and I fix it. Move that over just a little bit. That looks a little more gooder. Again. There we go. I like that better. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to line up with the vanishing point on now the right side and draw a long line connecting all of those lines if I wanted a row of windows. And then I'm going to go up here and I want to do the same thing. Just like that. And then erase whatever little extras I don't need as of right now. Okay? So that's how you could do a row of windows. A single window, let's say, for ease of having you guys look at this, let's say there's one big picture window up here. 2 vertical lines, I did make one a little taller than the other because I know my roof line is going up. Then all I need to do is connect them. So here and there. Again, going to that same side vanishing point, cleaning up my corners. And that's how you can do windows and doors. So that's what I'm going to throw in right now. Then we'll get into siding. and then we'll go from there. Okay, I think that's a good start for you guys. So, next step. Now we get to do the pretties on the exterior. So, block, brick, siding, and even signs, whether it's painted on, graffiti, whatever you might think of, banners. This is really what's going to help decide what kind of theme to your city you have. So, since I'm an artist myself, and so is Mr. L, that's what we're going to do, is I'm going to do a whole city based off of kind of what we have on the farm here. So it's painting and drawing and photography and wood shop and metal shop and all the awesomeness that we can think of. So when we start doing something like brick, for example, let's make this building brick, but maybe I'll save room for a sign that I'm going to throw somewhere. So this is where it would come in handy to have a ruler with markings, but if not, again, you can kind of guesstimate where your marks can be. So let's say I want to have bricks, not block, but let's say bricks maybe every 1/4 of an inch. So I can kind of see where my old line was. I'm going to use that as a guide for now, knowing I'm probably going to erase some of this later so that it's not getting in the way of the building that's overlapping this one. So what I'm going to do is take and put a little mark about every 1/4 of an inch. Boom, okay, just like that. Now from those little marks, we're going to line up to the individual vanishing points. And I'm just going to start drawing lines just in that building. Okay, so along with Gadget the kitty helping us out, she's a very good art cat. We have all of our lines drawn to all our vanishing points, or both of our vanishing points. Now, when we do brick, bricks have joints that stagger, meaning every other line is going to have a gap in it. And again, as things get closer to the vanishing points, things are going to get smaller. They're vanishing. They're getting further away. So that's what I'm going to start doing, is I'm going to start putting little vertical lines, but only in every other space. And I'm going to leave the other spaces alone for now. So it looks something like that. Then I'm going to shove my ruler down. And if it helps for you to put your ruler on the other side, you can. It's just your hand kind of might get in the way. So how about I do it on this side so it's easier for you guys to see. So I'm going to skip where my door is for now. And I'm going to start my first line here. Every other gap. Then I'm going to slide my ruler down. The first spots that I didn't have any lines, they get lines now. Gotta share. Then I'm gonna move my ruler down again. Not too far away, but not too close to start with. And then I'm gonna continue to do that. So, as you can see, things got a little bit lighter and a little bit closer together as we came towards the left side, just because the bricks are getting smaller and smaller and smaller as they move away from us. So now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. That's how you can do brick. So block and siding are very similar, so go ahead and just take a seat, kick back and watch. I'm going to do one over here.